Gareth just moved me. So, good afternoon and welcome to the SERC PBL Enterprise Showcase. During the last 2 weeks, over 4,000 full-time students completed a range of enterprising challenges, which led to multi-campus showcase events. The students' innovative and creative solutions were judged by a range of industry experts and college staff, and the top 9 groups are chosen to pitch to you today. I would like to welcome the panel of judges. We have Sue Gray, the Permanent Secretary for the Department of Finance. We have Andy Hill from Hill's Mixtapes. We have Stephen Addy, Head of Regulatory Services, Ards and Northdown Borough Council. And our very own Terence Brannigan, SERC's Entrepreneur in Residence. You're all very welcome. We'd also like to take this opportunity to thank all the SERC staff who have been instrumental in inspiring their students throughout the Enterprise Fortnight. And a special thank you to the team of creative developers for all their hard work behind the scenes. And that's it, folks. It's over to you.
Hi.
Big nerve wracking, waiting.
Yeah.
Something like that?
Relax.
You have to wait for the music to stop. Or is that
Enjoy
like
it
the
now.
whole time?
I think that gets turned off.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. Music. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Lovely to see you. Enjoy your lunch.
Very much.
Good. Okay, lovely to see you. We are the representatives of the polymers, and our task was to come up with visualizing the effects that plastics have on the environment. And we were given the task of making a model, which you can see in front of you here, to demonstrate the impact that plastics are having on our local environment. We had a team consisting of 6 artists and 2 scientists, and we have Regan and Rio here. Say hello.
Yeah, I'm Regan. I'm the photographer. I basically help document this whole process, and this is Rio. She's the artist behind all the designs that you see on the board here as well.
Okay. Now, as a team, we worked very well together with 2 scientists and 6 artists. I was the team leader. I'm an artiste as well. And we worked together, and it's a delight to be chosen to be part of this presentation, and a great surprise, and at very short notice, shall we tell you as well. So thank you for your patience. Others can't be here just due to other responsibilities. Now, our message to you today is that we need to take recycling here of plastics, especially in this college and all the other colleges, seriously, because we do recycle, but we don't take it very seriously. And we've been giving you there some fabulous gifts of some water and some Tato crisps. And I'm sure after your lunch is settled and after you've consumed those, you will be then wondering, what do I do with this bottle and what do I do with this packet of Tato crisps? Maybe you don't care. And most of us actually don't care what happens to them. And why? Well, we don't really experience the first-hand impact that plastics have on our lives, or the detrimental effects that waste plastics have. And recycling for us in the Western world is really a privilege at the moment and not a necessity. Now, our scientific side of the team were able to demonstrate that microplastics are having a massive detrimental effects on not just sea life, which you've heard about lots on the news, but also there's huge evidence of it accumulating in our human livers. Thus, microplastics are so small, they're nano size, they can't be seen by the human eye. Now, one of the posters there just behind Rio, just at the bottom, demonstrates that there are microplastics having detrimental effects all around the world. And there's a rather gory picture of a poor seabird being dissected with plastics being taken out of it. But each little red dot there represents 1 million tonnes of waste plastic washing up on our oceans. And that actually comes from places like Northern Ireland. In the 1960s, we watched the adverts, we smoked our John Player specials together. They're too young to remember that. But we didn't realise the direct link between cigarettes and cancer then. And in exactly the same way, can you imagine us one day looking, I remember we used to drink water out of plastic bottles and being horrified at that, simply because we're finding that people are dying from liver failure because of accumulated plastics. Now, our inspiration for our model, which you can see here today, which is easily worked up into a life-size sculpture, which could be put outside here in Bangor in the college, or it could be worked up into a more portable form to take around schools to educate children about the dangers of plastics not being recycled properly. And we had three main artists. We had Damien Hirst here, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with, and his fish in tanks. So we would love that to be a real life-size aquarium, which would be very attractive. It would be lit up from the bottom. We would have lights in the trees, the concept of the branches of the trees, which is inspired by an engineer called Calder. And then we had Rennie McIntosh as well, was an inspiration. And he's a Scottish artist that's linked obviously to Charles Rennie McIntosh. Hence, we're wearing Macintoshes today because we are the Plastic Fantastic group, of course. So you'll also remember Damien Hirst. His theme is all about life and death. And our main message is that plastics are coming down and impacting our environment and are slowly killing it from inside out. And again, it's a bit like, I suppose, cigarettes a long time ago. It's very, very subtle. Now, you might not realise that not all plastics that we've handed you today in the form of the crisps and the bottles are not all recyclable. For example, the aluminium foil that the Tato crisps come in cannot actually be recycled along with all other materials. And it'd be lovely, maybe we could work together with Tato or the other suppliers of aluminium foil in the college and get them to take back the packaging, or a reward, a point system within the college. We would like you to help us take this concept forward and to develop this into a model and a message. And we've been working with Sainsbury's, Asda, Tesco's, Lidl to try and get sponsorship for this. For this to be able to become a reality, we of course need funding, and that is one way that we as a college could work with the local big conglomerates, and we could put the little plastic bags here. You could see they could be big acrylic solid pieces with, for instance, advertising such as the local conglomerates and that. And of course, it would promote good competition between them and seeing who is the most eco-friendly. And finally, we as artists would just like to be the force behind visualising this message that SERC is taking recycling serious. And as they say, talk is cheap, but it costs money to buy drink. Whether that drink be bottles of Fanta, Ballygowan or Coca-Cola. And we're presently wasting resources here, yet in this wonderful educational establishment with all its fantastic resources, we need to educate everyone that comes in through its doors that recycling is a way of life, not something that is just for the privileged few, the anorak people. Plastic is fantastic, it's part of everyone's lives, but we must be responsible with plastic waste so that our environment around us is healthy, our economy, our welfare and our future generations becomes a healthier and more sustainable environment. So in short, as you can see, our message in our bottle here is, and I'm going to get you to say it, recycle, recycle and recycle. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have you any questions? Or do we pop off?
Where to from here?
Where to from here? Well, say we were given very short notice about this. One of the things that we would love to do is actually take this model and literally blow it up into some form of life size, either within the college or as a model that we could take round education establishments and talk about, I suppose, the dangers of that. So it's an inspirational piece. We're actually taking science and art, putting it together into a lovely, colourful, interactive place. If this was blown up into a large enough place outside the college on the right hand side, there's a flower bed doing nothing. It'd be a great place for all the smokers to sit and chat. But it's also saying to the rest of the world, we're serious here in the college about recycling. Because I'll just show you here, this is what I was able to pull out just yesterday, out of the bin, right? And you can see the recycling bin, and guess what's in the non-recycling bin right in front of it. I didn't doctor that. That's true. So what we need to do, and we're very grateful to Ardsburg Council for providing more of these, I've been just told by Liz, but what we need to do is highlight and educate people as a way of life of saying, I'm finished with my bottle. Because this is why I give you those, because we, and myself, you think of a bottle, do you really bother want to recycling it? So it has to become a way of life, and certainly within a wonderful educational establishment as this, we need to highlight these bins or have them everywhere, but more so than that, make it a way of life and a habit. I'm getting rushed here, so just so you know.
I'm quite keen to understand. So I was actually quite attracted when you started talking about, crisps and actually crisp packets.
Yes.
I suppose I'm slightly, this is great, but I think it's a bit of a nice to have. I mean, you need to make a difference. And so really attracted to the crisp packet. You talked about working with the big food stores,
Yes.
but then you quickly moved away from it.
It's called time.
But I'm just keen to understand. So Sainsbury's has set, I read about this last week, really demanding timescale targets,
Yes.
reducing their packaging by 10% every year for the next 5 years, which is absolutely massive. Why don't you go and actually talk to Sainsbury's? Because I think in a way, you need to start getting some money behind you.
That's what I've done.
Okay, you've
Just
talked
with
to
the
them.
local,
Okay.
but that's only in a local level, so you're only talking for students about £300 sort of, to help us do our model. What SERC again could do is we can set ourselves those own budgets and levels and say, what do we want to do with ours? And the
Yeah.
only way to do that is be very, very practical and directly approach our suppliers and
Yeah.
say, what are we going to do with this packaging? Is there anything that we can do to help you process that?
Yeah.
And also from a student point of view, we all have identity cards and students. There's no reason why we can't have a form of point system. We're all old enough
Very
to
good idea.
remember the 10p. You took a bottle in. Why can't we do that with bottle lids or something that's sensible? So we would love to bring on business people entrepreneurs that sort of say, okay, you've got the conceptual idea. How do we bring this forward? So
Okay.
we're the sort of the thinkers behind it, and we sort of need somebody to say practically say, yes, you can do this, and you can do this, and you can do this.
Can I just one last question? Why do you think people don't recycle in this college?
We don't care.
But you see, I think young people do care.
No, we don't. There's a proof of it. I mean, and that's why I give you a problem. What genuinely would you do with your crisp packet at the end of the day? We would put it into a paper bin thinking, littering is bad, but we wouldn't think, I'll go that step further and recycle it. We'll do that with our wine bottles because it's great fun to do, but with our plastics, the message hasn't yet come through to us, I think, in a normal way that it has done with glass, that it's a waste and it needs recycled.
Well done.
Thank you.
I think it's a combination of logistics and education. And with the sculpture, someone that was never convinced on art and things like that, we at Ards North Down put the first seabed down in Bangor Marina. And the huge success behind that was actually on the massive billboard we got advertising it and talking about microplastics, because actually it's that educates people, which is probably doing an awful lot more good than what plastic the seabed is actually capturing.
Well, pictures speak 1,000 words.
Absolutely, and I'm a visual learner, and from someone that mightn't have got that before, I totally get it. So I think a combination of logistics and education is
Well,
the key.
we'd love to turn that into, say, either a full-size sculpture or an interactive, something that can go around schools.
Yep.
And you have a talk. But again, it will not bore you with the details. But the bottle's hitting down in the environment. There's a couple of little trees that have fallen down. It's the idea that plastic is part of our environment and is wrecking it and getting told to get off here.
Okay, sorry.
Right. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
Well
time.
done.
Well done.
I think we need to just
Take your props with you.
take our props with us.
Can we get a wee quick photograph with the team?
Oh, right.
Okay. Did you know that littering costs the UK government £1 billion every year? That's enough to pay for 20,000 nurses and 10,000 doctors. I think we can all agree where the money can be best spent. My name's David O'Neill.
I'm Ellen Hutton.
I'm Ewan Johnson.
And we are Bin Benefits.
So for this year in our Level 2 Engineering, for our induction fortnight, we were set the theme Sustainability, Healthy Living and Learning. So our project is a recycling bin that gives an incentive to recycle, and it covers the sustainability area of things.
Okay, so at the initial stage we did a wee bit of research to see if we can find any companies that have previously got roughly about the same idea as us, and we couldn't actually really find any. Such as yourselves in the Ardsborough Council, we've found out about your wee app. So you type in the actual waste that you're trying to get disposed of, and it would tell you what bin to get into. This is what sort of developed our idea. So as you can see on the screen behind me, it just has sort of our wee concept 3. So you have a screen, you also have a wee barcode reader. So the item that you have, tap it on, you put your rubbish into the middle chute, and then it'll automatically open the correct sort of slot that you sort of need to dispose it to get rid of it.
Okay, so our company boasts a host of different advantages, both economic and environmental. Just to name a few, we've displayed this mind map here, one of which would be includes a reward scheme to incentivise the scheme. It also promotes recycling. It can be easily situated within a college scenario, as well as creates a cleaner environment.
So in this drawing, it's a concept drawing of the screen that will be situated on the bin. So you can see there's 4 boxes, and each of the boxes on the screen correlate to one of the bins. So when you have your rubbish, say you have a plastic bottle, you'll press plastic on the screen, and then you put down the chute and it'll open the correct bin for you to put it in. And if you're not sure what you have, you can scan on the barcode and it'll tell you, or you can type it in the screen on the wee search bar. And in our search bar we will use the Binovation app, hopefully, because of all their information, because it has lots of the bits of rubbish anyway, so yeah.
Okay, so once we came up with our initial idea and our concepts, we decided to take it a step further. So we used a wide range of software sort of development stages. So we used Fusion 360 and SolidWorks to actually create like the 3D base model. So as you can see behind me, there's a few different sort of drawings. There's the internals, which is in the top right hand corner. So it would go into the middle slot, and then the bits would sort of make sort of like a V there, would open up, either going left or right, and then that would go down the chute and open up which one you want to go into. The actual like brand itself, so as you can see, it has the recycling logo on the side. If you were trying to, say for example, get sponsors such as Tesco, if you wanted to put it in certain supermarkets, you can do, and that could sort of add promotional sort of advertising and all that, so it sort of makes it a wee bit more of an incentive.
Okay, so ensure our product was relative to the customers, the people using the bin. We decided we'd carry out some market research. What this effectively allowed us to do was look into what people are recycling the most and sort of design our bin around that. So we sat in the canteen, the SERC canteen, just up the corridor there, between 1:15 and 2 p.m. So that's when the lunch was on. Sat opposite the bin and simply tallied down what people were recycling beside the main bin. So we found from our results the most popular item that was recycled was a general food waste, with 52 people within that time, followed closely by paper food boxes, next followed by plastic bottles and cans. This enabled us to design the product around that and make it effective and relative to our situation within the SERC campus.
So we also have some future developments, for example, expanding to other schools and locations. So we could start it off in SERC campuses, then maybe move it into other schools, like grammar schools. We could also have a more public presence by putting them in public parks as well, and instead of using them by plugging them into like plugs, you can have solar. And then also we could have funding from municipal undertaking, as that's what the product will come under, and also develop the reward card into an app.
So the actual reward card itself, so you would put your reward card down, and for every item you recycle, say for example if it was going to be in certain schools, you would get certain either items for free or prices off, say for example like hot dinners, anything like that. Also it combines technology, so you'd have your iPad aspect, so say for example if you were having in primary schools, to make it more incentive, as I know whenever being like 10-pin bowling, if you get a strike, it sort of has like a fun animation on it. So for kids, it would make them sort of want to recycle, so they could see sort of the sort of fun animation.
Okay, we hope you've enjoyed our pitch and would like to welcome any questions you might have for us.
So where would you place these bins? I mean, because they're clearly not just your household.
So yes, no, it's more for sort of the public presence.
Yeah.
In places. So for instance, the SERC campus. So instead of having we'll just replace normal bins. In the likes of a canteen. Instead of having the generic bin everyone's put in the same sort of pile, it's not very environmentally friendly. We would have this, just replaces it and make allows people to be sorted in to make it a lot more environmentally friendly.
And because it includes technology, it's something that people would want to use, and it has the incentive of the reward system.
Yeah.
The reward system, every time you put a piece of rubbish in and scan your card, gives you 1 point, and your points will equal things in the canteen that you can get for free. And then if they're obviously in shopping centres and stuff, you could get sponsors from other shops and stuff, and then they could include things that you get for free in the reward system.
I remember hearing about it last Wednesday, and I remember going home and telling my wife about it because I thought I was genius. It's one of these things I would not thought of it before. Gaming waste disposal is a fantastic idea, and sustainability is exactly what this is. It's the economic, the social, and environmental. So it's right bang on at the minute trend with sustainability. So well done, and your presentation was fantastic too. All three engaged. Spoke passionately and clearly and concisely about your product, so well done.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
In terms of costing?
Costing, yes, certainly. So costing something that we find if we were to make a prototype, that's something we'd struggle with cost-wise. It's coming out material-wise. It's about £160, and we can get the tablet interface and the scanner. That would be about the 50. But we'll feel with the economies of scale, if we were to grow into a bigger company, even if we made say 10, 20 of them, you would notice that dramatically come down the cost. Because the raw materials will be a lot cheaper. You can buy them in bulk, and like the wholesalers, etc., they'll work with us and get the price down. But buying it once off is expensive, so that's why we need the funding to make say 10, 20 ideally at once.
And you'd also presumably get your waste collection. They would pay for it.
It would be more every time the waste collection's due, it would literally be sorted out. So when the different bins.
Yeah, but they would pay good for that, wouldn't they? Because that's
definitely.
actually a higher quality waste.
Well, there's profit in it.
Absolutely. Because it actually costs them to sort. So what you're doing is you're cutting part of their cost out, part of their cost cycle out. I would look at a number of things. So once you've got an idea of the cost and get that pinned down, then sponsorship, advertising, as you said yourself. They look at then the waste companies in terms of them getting involved. So there is great innovation, good entrepreneurship there, and I have to like I think the engagement with us, all three, excellent. The presentation was good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I thought it wasn't me. I agree with what everyone said. I thought these guys did really well. The idea is awesome. I have a 12-year-old kid, and if it happens on an app or it happens,
You're away.
and the thing is, we were actually having a conversation earlier on, and the thing is with recycling, it's accessible, but it's not convenient sometimes because maybe there's not a bin, but that nearly not eradicates that, but it sort of is a good stepping stone. Instead, while it's not so convenient, it makes it interesting, which is kind of like especially for younger guys and
younger people. We grew up with these things,
so
exactly
natural almost.
That's fantastic.
I like that.
And actually, I was on the board of the National Citizen Service, and they had loyalty points for concerts.
Okay.
So
That's
music, young people.
Sure.
Actually, they gained loyalty points to go to big concerts and things.
Yeah,
So it's just,
it's got so many applications of doing. Obviously, in colleges with food, that's a big one. I went to college and it was like pretty much all you thought about was chilling out and eating, so it worked out well there. But it's like we're even working with like at Tesco's, like the club card points. It's got so many applications. I think it's a great idea. I really do. I loved it. Really good.
It's not often you'll get something that spans public sector, private sector, and social enterprise, and it does all three, and it does it measurably. Really good impact.
Thanks very much.
Well done,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Yeah, sure.
Thanks very much.
Very well done.
Thank you.
We are semicolon and we are level 3 health and social care students.
So we have created a website to do with mental health. So basically on the first page we are linked to lots of like different charities if you want to. So all of them have links to different mental health charities, and then if we go back, so if we go down, so this is about us. So we are helping people suffering from mental illness because lots of people hide in the dark and they don't really talk about it. So we have made this website to help males and females any age to help come out of the dark and talk about their mental illness. So on here we have an auto response down in the corner. So if we were to write in anything to do with mental health, for example, suicide, this will bring up the helpline or phone number or website. And then also in this corner we have what's your story. So this is kind of still in the making. So basically you write your story that will be put into the easy blog that we will show later, and you can write how you feel and how you got help. And then if we go to easy blog, so these are people's stories of how they struggle with depression and how it doesn't define who they are. And then if we go to seeking help, this page is, we don't want anyone to be afraid to ask, so we ask them, when should I seek help and who can I turn to? And there's lists of like your doctor, families and friends, and along the sides are more people's stories of how they got help. And then if we go to type of mental illnesses, these are all linked to a website, mostly NHS website. So if we were to click on one, this will take you to the NHS site. So basically you can, if you feel like you have it, you can figure it out, how to get help. So we think ours is original because we researched quite a few mental illness websites and they didn't really get to the point of how to get help. They were going through a long process, which is why we created our auto response so they can get it quick, and the seeking help page of the videos and so on. And we also think it's unique because we're growing up in this generation. We know the struggles, we know the pressure of how social media can come at you, so we made this to help younger people.
We took part in market research to find out the statistics of how many people struggle with mental health illnesses, and it's estimated that around 45,000 children and young people in Northern Ireland have a mental health problem, and more than 20 of the young people are suffering a significant mental health problems by the time they're 18. With regard to suicide, 318 suicides were registered in Northern Ireland during 2015, the highest since 1970. 245, which is 77%, were male, and 132 were aged between 15 and 34 years of age.
So to help us with our website, we used a target market. Target market basically refers to a group of potential customers to whom a company wants to sell its product to. Every entrepreneur needs target market, because not everyone in the world wants to use this website. So we designed this website specifically for people who are struggling with mental issues or they're potentially suffering, they think they're suffering from it. So that's why we made a website called semicolon. A semicolon means that your story isn't over yet, so you could seek help. Why did we use target market? It's useful as it is focusing on a specific group of people, and mental health issues are very common and it's growing, especially in Northern Ireland, which is very sad. So everyone uses the internet, everyone could go on this and get help for that. We had to really envision on how we were going to help people, and we have a lot of information on here that would help people with mental health issues. The concept of our website was to provide a safe space for teens, young adults and adults with mental health issues, for example, anxiety or depression, or those with disorders such as OCD, to talk and easily access the correct helpline suited to their specific issue and or worry. We made this website completely anonymous, as we understand that it's really hard for people to admit that they have something wrong with them, because they think that it's something wrong when in reality it's just something that they need to deal with, that they want to seek help for. The service is completely anonymous, so they're able to use it from the comfort of their own home, which really helps people with the likes of social anxiety who maybe don't want to leave the house and don't want to talk to someone. So
the cost of this website is free to make, but we also have another project on the side to do with a water bottle, but we'll come back to that in a minute. And then to make those water bottles would be £150 for like 100 of them. And to get money for this, we're hoping to do a bake sale to raise money for the bottles, and next year we're hoping to do the Belfast Marathon and hopefully hand these out to the runners and maybe participate as well.
Obviously we want to progress as much as we can with our website, so the next step that we're looking to take is to make it on a mobile app so that you can access it from wherever you are at any given time. So if you're feeling particularly anxious, you can just take out your phone and get help get a pathway to help as soon as you can.
This is our water bottle, right? As long as they hand them out at the marathon, sell them in shops, and then whenever they go to the till, there's going to be like a leaflet or like a wee card that says like you did a good thing, and then give the link to our web address so they can find out for themselves.
Thank you, that's all.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I've just got a suggestion, so I think fantastic. I think this is just, such a difficult issue. But you should go and talk to David Hunter of AEL, who produces clear water. And what he does on his bottles is he's got a little code, and if you scan that barcode, you can find out about the person that has produced the water. And I'm sure that, you could do something with your making it clearer. They could scan it onto the app and actually learn a bit more about what you've been up to.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Just a couple of comments. First thing, I always judge the importance of something by it's what I call SUG, S-U-G, which is it serious, is it urgent, and is it growing? And all those things are true. So issues with mental health are serious. It's urgent because of the suicide rate, and it's growing, and therefore it needs tackled. And anything that we do, particularly using technology, which young people,
I love that for young people. I just love that.
They have a greater affinity toward, as you were saying earlier, one of the others. So something like this is incredibly important. One of the things, though, because it's so important and because it's so delicate, is you'll need help in terms of the messaging. So you'll need professional help in terms of making sure that it is kind of that you have scientific input, that you're giving the right messages, that it is robust information, but that it is technically correct in terms of health. And that's probably something that the college can help with.
Yeah, really good. I'm certainly not an expert in this area, or any area for that matter. But no, I really liked it. Definitely a growing issue. And I think maybe this isn't fair to say, but a lot of charities are in competition with each other.
Yeah.
So actually signposting websites like this are more and more important, because they're all competing, these charities, whilst well-meaning, but they're competing with each other for the same pots of money. So this is really important. So yeah, keep going. One maybe comment, and it's just maybe my style, and again it might differ for other people's opinion, but in presenting, I always like to get people's buy-in first. So maybe the big stats and showing people that it's such a huge issue with the cool stuff, well, it's not so cool, the interesting facts that you come out with, might get that in earlier in the presentation just to really kind of tee it up, but that's just my personal.
Thank you.
But well done.
This thing here, I know a few people and I've been affected by it, so there's a few things whenever you're actually going through something like that there, to have something that is instant, especially today, because it's like if you it's fine, most people find out their news from a hashtag. It's not like they're waiting till 10 o'clock anymore, so having something that's instant, is proper relevant, but the fact that you're sort of not just going what the usual thing is, which is like, here, have you got this, this and this? Well, good luck to you, pal. Do you know, it's like this and this, and it's got interactive part elements to it. So, because the biggest part from is actually going, you feel like you're the only person going through certain things. So the fact that there's someone on the other end, or there's something interacting with you, can just sometimes just be enough. So I thought it was genius. I think it's really good. I like the fact that you're bringing it all together rather than doing something that's already been done. You're kind of summing it all up and going, well, so what? Here's what you do. I like that. That's really good. Like it. Very good.
Well done.
Yeah.
Photo.
Yeah, for real.
Hello, my name is Sarah, and this is Carrie and James, and we are from Lisburn SERC, and we study HNC Applied Science, and today we're going to talk about our project Synthol.
Synthol is a product that we developed through research on diabetes. We thought that it would be a good thing because diabetes is a worldwide problem. It's not, my mama also has diabetes, and it's something that everyone's heard of. So once we were researching, we found that over 200,000 people in Ireland actually have diabetes, and that it is a cost that it'd be a burden on the NHS. So we thought that if we could look into something more natural that would be cheaper, then we could develop it. So once we were doing research, we found that traditional remedies had actually been used for thousands of years. So we looked into that, and there was many papers that we did, and a common natural extract that kept coming up was synthol, or was cinnamon.
So last year, Carrie and I carried out a study on the effects of natural food extracts on insulin secretion from pancreatic cells, and we looked at cinnamon oil, menthol and mustard oil, and we found after testing that all three natural food extracts showed a statistically significant increase in insulin secretion from pancreatic cells. So we took this to BT Young Scientists in Dublin, where we won 2 awards. From that, we've grown more interest, and we decided to make a product, Synthol. So Synthol is a green tea infused with cinnamon and mint to add the menthol extract. Synthol is not just a product that you can buy in a supermarket, as it contains not 1 but 2 natural food extracts that has been studied and proven to increase insulin secretion from pancreatic cells to lower blood sugar levels, making it a perfect product for type 2 diabetics.
So what did we find? We tested on a 20-year-old non-diabetic female. To do this, we asked our subject to eat a portion of food. We waited 1 hour and 15 minutes and recorded our blood sugar, glucose levels, and we got 5.9. From this, we waited a further hour and retested again and got 4.9, which was a 16% decrease in natural glucose levels. So the next day, we tested again with the same subject and same food portions. After the 1 hour and 15 minutes, we got 6.7. At this point, we give our subject 300 milliliter cup of synthol tea. Waited the hour and we got a 5.1, which was a 24% decrease in blood glucose levels. So this was showing that the synthol was increasing the secretion of insulin in the cells.
So the future development is the major part of our product because it is such a simple product right now, but we do want to develop it. So we have been looking at working in labs for about £15 a month with a membership. We've also looked at the Food Standard Agency as well for health and safety of the product, but we discovered that SERC actually have facilities to test it, so hopefully they could create a shelf life for us and look into the nutritional benefits of our product. We also, of course, we have to do a lot more testing on it with different people because we only tested on a 20-year-old female, but we would look at other genders and different ages for that, so that we could develop it more. We also think that our product could be sold in supermarkets or natural food shops because of all the natural ingredients in it. It'd be beneficial to everyone and get everyone involved in it. We think that we'd love for our product to be promoted by the NHS as well, and but our main aim is not just to have one product. In the future, we do want to have a brand as well, so use other extracts such as ginger or chili, and make other foods that can be used for cooking, and also for drinks, cold drinks as well, and like maybe combine with other companies.
Currently, as we stand today, our production retail cost is £4.36. Our ingredients cost £1.50 for the green tea, 69p for the mint, and that's 14 grams, and 79p for 50 grams of cinnamon. We are currently looking into different avenues in funding. So we've looked at the Invest NI and the voucher. Innovation voucher. We've also looked at support from SERC and the National Lottery. With this funding, we would be able to buy in bulk, which would also obviously bring down our production cost and therefore bring down our consumer cost. So yes, that is Synthol. Thank you very much for listening. Any questions?
Hold on.
Thank you.
Relax. What about, it's not really competitors, but I know people are into buying these fancy tea bags now and all. What sort of price? So you're talking 40 bags there for under £5. So what sort of price are, inverted commas, your competitors sort of selling? Do you know? Peppermint tea.
Green tea is obviously a big thing nowadays, and I think it is around £2 or £3. But as I said, if we buy in bulk,
so
it would reduce the cost.
So you're in around similar prices.
The green tea, some of them are it'll be about 20 bags. They're actually smaller quantities in 2 boxes, aren't they? It's good, right?
It's really interesting that you brought together a number of things all in one, which is good use of natural products, which people are going toward in droves. So natural products, and it has a medicinal effect. So there's the second thing. And because of what you're doing here and the packaging you're using, it's environmentally friendly, so you're ticking that box. And then you talked about nutritional as well. You're ticking a lot of boxes, which is superb, and not a lot of products tick all of those boxes and deliver on that. One of the things you're going to have to do is this rigorous testing and research, and there's going to any product that, dependent on what you say it will do for you, it will have to be tested specifically for that and then signed off on that. So you go through quite a heavy cycle of product testing, etc., etc. But for me, it ticks so many boxes. This is one that's really worth pursuing.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think the health benefits of actually something that actually also sounds quite pleasant. What would be the what was the investment that you need?
The initiative or the voucher would allow us then to look into testing this and also bulk buying, which would bring down our costs.
And how much are the vouchers? Do you know?
It's I believe £5,000.
Right. Very, very good. Well done.
I've obviously been through a lot of that with the lab testing and stuff and nutritional stuff, and as much as that is like it's important, you have to have that.
Yeah.
The way what you said about doing the, so obviously there's the tea bags, but the cold drink and what is version of it is pretty good, because right now it's cold drinks, so kombucha is a big one because of the health benefits of it, but it's sort of kicking off, and kombucha looks disgusting, but it's got loads of health benefits. Iced tea is pretty big. And then I sort of, obviously I hang about in the coffee and that sort of realm. But that grab and go health benefit, because also the reason that coffee's doing so well and the reason that all these ones are doing so well is because of the kickback from how bad energy drinks are for you. So people are looking at natural versions of that, whether it be cold brew, iced tea and whatever. So but it's fantastic, but I do agree that backing up your claims, if you backed up your claims and went, it is what it is, I think it's a fantastic product. I think it really is. It's great. It sounds like it tastes amazing. I would love to have actually tasted it.
Get a patent.
I was just going to say, I actually think you could take it as well to, I don't know what there's a big health food chain, isn't there?
Yes,
but I mean,
yes there is.
Yeah, though, exactly.
Barrett, but I mean,
Holland Barrett.
Well, that's it, Holland Barrett.
Yeah.
But they would be, I think, somebody like them would actually snap this up.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got
fantastic.
if you've got those, you got it backed up and what it's doing. Like, oh my goodness.
And as you say, patent it, because I think it's actually going to go places. Very, very well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done,
I
guys.
would buy it.
Well done.
No good
I'm not
too.
diabetic, but it just sounds great. I hate green tea, but the cinnamon.
Hello, we are the Level 3 Health and Social Care class from Downpatrick SERC, and what our project is to open a day centre for people over 60. My name is Catherine.
My name's Ashlyn.
My name is Conan.
My name's Nicola.
My name's Alex.
And my name's Mia.
So for our project in our day centre, we would like to host a range of activities which are client-centred to promote their physical, intellectual, emotional and social needs. And we would like to host this maybe about 3 hours a week. And as you can see here, this is some of our ideas and our activities that we would like to do, but we will get back to them. And we would also like to involve other departments in our SERC, like the beauty department, art department and catering department.
So our logo is based around the SERC logo itself, to simply enjoy real company.
So whenever we were researching, we discussed with community care services in our area on whether or not there was a need for this service for over 60s, and they said yes, there is definitely a gap in the market because there isn't many services where they themselves can actually physically come to the place. So we were speaking with a befriending service in our area, and they are really willing to work with us to provide service users for us. And then Down Community Transport is also free to use over the age of 60, so then that gives us transport and the ability to transport these people from their homes to the college itself.
There's approximately 60,000 carers in the local community and the South Eastern Trust, which shows how many people kind of rely on this care and support. There's also voluntary services like the befriending company in the community as well, which helps with, bringing people together. And obviously other day centres have limited space and resources, so we need more of them to help accompany all these people.
What makes our project original is that it has never been done by an FE college in Northern Ireland before. It's also part of the college-wide PBL initiative to embed practical teaching and learning. We strive to achieve the Centre of Excellence for Healthcare Provision in SERC Downpatrick.
So for costing in an actual day centre that is being run right now in Northern Ireland, they are charging £60 per person per day. Now we're hoping to run our half day centre free of charge because this is just a trial period for us, and we are having a grant provided to us by the Safe and Well befriending service of £500, but we would like to make it commercial if it does become a success, and in a few years time we could also get charity status as well. And the costs in reality for just one day would only be in and around £30, but we could involve other departments in the college itself, i.e. the cooking, catering staff and other places, to see if we could reduce the costs of this.
So we're in communication with the befriending service to try and confirm how many people will use this kind of service. Once we get this number, we can plan the transport with Down Community Transport team to make it easy for people to get there and back. There will be a room allocated, obviously. It'll be in a nice date time. It'll be on the first level of the Downpatrick campus to make it easy for people in wheelchairs and just bad mobility altogether.
So our target market is for people over the age of 60, and to make someone stay a little less lonely, for people who need a little company in a safe environment and a safe and well client base.
So what makes it unique is that we are FE students and we are really enthusiastic and passionate about opening this. Like, we want to do it, and we think it's really good challenge for us, and we've got in contact with our local community like Safe and Well and Good Morning Down, and they said there is a gap in the market and we would like to fill that gap.
So there are students to participate in the fundraising activities for our service, and we've also reached out to Good Morning Down to hopefully help us out with advertising and possible funding. And there's also free transport which will be supplied by Down Community Transport.
And then we've also got some various different activities planned for our day centre. So for example, here we've got mugs for a tea party. On each mug there's a label with a question on for people to obviously work on their social well-being and allow them to get to know themselves and each other a little bit better.
We've also made 2 sensory items. For example, we have our tie here, which looks very normal, doesn't attract too much attention to itself. But on the other side of it, there's lots of sensory kind of items that you can, interact with while talking. Just calmly holding it to keep yourself centered. Same with the scarf there. That's more attractive for females. It's very on the outside looks normal, doesn't attract too much attention, but yet again it has all the nice wee features onto it, so you can interact calmly while still talking to people.
And then for their physical well-being, we decided to come up with a 1950s themed dance.
so that they can be physical and join in on the dancing, singing, but also socialise with people their age and talk about their youth and what brings them back to that music and that time.
And for one of our other activities called Name That Song, we've also created a spinner app for people who may not have the best mobility and stuff to be able to involve in stuff.
And we'd like to say thank you to all of you for actually taking the time out and listening to us, because we know not often health and social care are actually capable of coming to these things, and we are genuinely passionate about this. I mean, everyone has grandparents, older people in their family, and it would be so good for them to be able to go out and socialise with people their own age and younger. And if you have any questions, we'd be really happy to answer them.
Well done.
Well done.
Thank you. Well done.
Yeah, we're an ageing population, so there's definitely more
Just
than
need to look at me.
I think we might be your first client.
And I think your intergenerational link there with the SERC could be a huge, unique selling point for yourselves and getting grants and all the rest of it. I'd maybe look at it as well. We need to look at businesses more and more and link with them in the third sector. I mean, they have sort of corporate social responsibility. And maybe approach local businesses for funding as well. There might be opportunities there.
Well,
obviously grants too, but they can take a while and you're in a big
Well,
pot.
that's what we've actually done. Good Morning Down is a community run organisation where they would sit and ring elderly people who are isolated and don't get out. So we have been in contact with them, and they would be happy to provide service users as well, and they would be happy to actually help us out in a big way with advertising to get people to come down to the service.
Brilliant.
Have you thought about running a little business? So have you thought about bringing these people together and actually thinking about what is it you could do, you know, as a business? Because actually, you know, you've obviously identified there is a gap in the market, so you've identified a big gap. But actually, you know, if you brought them together and you were actually, I don't know what the business would be, but if there was something that people could come in and do and actually then generate some funding from it for...
Sort of men's sheds?
Sort of, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I can't, you know, but there must be loads of things that, you know, you could think about doing. Because, you know, rather than it just being like a 3-hour thing a week, which, you know, and community bus picking them up and that, what is it you could do that would actually give them real purpose as well? It's just a thought. We could all, you know, we could all think of ideas with you.
I think what you're saying is absolutely right. There's a friend of mine who she used to just go into like elderly people care homes and stuff like that and do 1950s style dancing, and that was it for an hour, and that was her business, that was her job. She was brought in to do that, and she just spent an hour with these guys and obviously like cheered them up, and like I witnessed it once and it was like I didn't interact because I got no moves. But it was amazing. It's amazing to see it really happening, and you're absolutely right. Like that was what my friend. That's what she did. She was a 1950s style dancer, just going around dancing with like old people, old elderly people in their care homes. And it was fantastic. So I think you're definitely, there is a gap. There is a need for it. There really is a need for it. That's a great idea.
Can I just put a couple of things together because it's quite interesting. This is one of the few things in life I have some knowledge of. Some knowledge of. I used to own a domiciliary care company, and I actually serviced the trust. Used to be 60, yeah, but that was a long time ago. So I own a domiciliary care company. It's still in existence, and it's growing incredibly well. And the reason it's growing is exactly what was said earlier in terms of an aging population. So I would say you could joint venture with a commercial organisation. So I'm talking about the commercial domiciliary care companies. They're big, they employ a lot of people, and it's a very difficult job, and they look for opportunities to twin up, and for them to do it with a student organisation would be very good for them, but it'd be very good for you because you've then got a professional commercial organisation that could actually put money in. That's the first thing. Second thing is you've picked on the right thing in that because of that aging population, social isolation is a killer, literally a killer. And rightly we've been focusing a lot on mental health, and particularly in young people, and the suicide rates, which are disgraceful. but people underestimate the suicide rate in older people because of social isolation. And of course, dementia accelerates because of social isolation as well. And those things are a blight on our community. So this is something that could make a big, big impact, but it's something that you need help with in terms of, so get sponsorship, etc., etc. Focus on this, because this is something that is exceptionally important and you could do an amazing amount with.
I think it's absolutely brilliant, but I would just say aim a bit higher.
Yeah.
I actually think be a bit more aspirational, because I think you've got a great idea.
Well, I think our whole focus behind it is community, helping community. We're a part of the community and we want to help others in our community. So we are wanting to fundraise to actually be able to provide this. But right now we're only trying to do a trial period, which we're hopeful will launch in the next couple of weeks, hopefully by November or maybe late December.
And you're going to do it in Downpatrick?
Yeah, Downpatrick SERC, for people in Downpatrick, because there is nothing else in our community that actually gets them out of their own homes. It's only services that is provided in their own homes, like community care workers.
Yeah.
We have a couple of those in our class, and even they said all they do is go up to their houses. It doesn't actually get them out of their homes, and it gets them out and around other people, because for all they know, there's someone 2 doors down from them in the same situation, just as isolated, and it can help them make friends.
That's great.
Well done.
As well as dementia care, and Southern Trust have just taken on something we've developed, touchscreen technology. Older people don't like working with computers, but this is touchscreen technology that has a learning advantage for it. And they put 3 in their daycare centres. If you had something like this in terms of a USP, it would be absolutely brilliant. But also you want to focus on the fact that you could help prevent dementia within these people, and not just care for people who are expecting to get them. Just to add that.
No, I think it's really interesting. I mean, one thing I'd be really happy to talk to you about is, by the way, I live just down the road from Downpatrick. But actually we do these Get Online courses, which is for, older people getting online for the first time. We run them across the libraries and everything. Well, if this centre was up and running, we'd want to come and actually run one. But we pay locations to host those. So that's why I just think a little bit more aspirational, because you won't be able to rely on grant community funding and community organisations. They just operate year to year with very little funding. Think bigger.
I'll
we'll go and visit Downpatrick together.
We will pick it up. Connected Health, which is the company I owned at the time, I'll put you in touch with them as well. And there's a commercial organisation that could support.
Go for it, guys.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Well presented.
Well done.
We will pick it up. Connected Health, which is the company I own, I'll put you in touch with them.
Well presented.
Well done. I actually haven't.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Just remember when you step back.
Yes.
So just remember that's when picking you up.
Alright.
That's great. Next thing bring you.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. My name is Matthew Strong. This is Dale Clark, Connor Addis and Connor Burns. Together we are Healthy Bites to Go student company. We've all worked together in separate different teams to create a healthy range of snacks and eventually hampers. As we found, there's a market for healthier food in Downpatrick, where we are based. We found this out by studying our student canteen, our college restaurant, and the Downpatrick Main Street.
The concept we chose came from team building and brainstorming with the rest of our class to create healthy alternatives for snacks, salads and hampers. We came up with the company brand Healthy Bites to Go, a logo and recyclable packaging, covering the college theme student companies recycling healthy treats and trying new food.
The target market that we have for our company is for the students, for the healthy snacks, and as for the staff and general public, we're going to give out the hampers. Our main places such as the Downpatrick Leisure Centre, where the users such as personal trainers and sports users can have these snacks.
Our progression plan is to open up at the Downpatrick campus at main reception. We're also looking for a sponsorship, so whoever has 20 grand in their pocket will happily take it. We also plan to open up a pop-up healthy hub at lunchtime and between classes. We plan on selling protein bars, beetroot brownies, salad boxes, fresh fruit pots and soups pots. The cost of these products are $1.50 for healthy snacks, £2 for salad boxes, and finally £10 for a healthy hamper. I'll finally pass over to Matthew to finish up.
Thank you, Connor Burns. So, thank you for your time. We have samples here. If Connor and Dale would like to start handing them out. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Fantastic.
We don't have any smoothies in.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. Where, I mean, I should know this because I actually just live up the road in Downpatrick, but where is the Downpatrick campus?
Across the road from the bus station.
Okay, so a little bit out of town, I
Yeah.
think. I know it's not very much
Well,
out of town, but it's
not,
a little
not
bit.
that much, but yeah.
How will you? I think this is absolutely fantastic, and that sounds like reasonably priced food, healthy food. I'm just worrying about whether you'll have enough people coming through that area.
Right, Downpatrick Leisure Centre.
I'm actually also by Asda and
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know where you are. Okay.
So, because we're selling it to like most people who are into their fitness and all, and
Right.
as well anyone who's wanting to eat healthy, like that's where.
There's a great shortage of places like that.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, there's not many places anywhere really.
Right.
But from there, we can like sell it to people who are going to the leisure centre.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
So explain how you're going to sell it to them.
we have we're going to have like a pop-up stall.
Okay.
Right beside where our kitchens are. Possibly we might get a different like a stall somewhere else as well, like more like in touch with the public rather than having to go on campus.
Is it all cold foods?
For the most part, as you could make our soups in like a Thermomix, which is a mixer that keeps it warm, and then we can pour that out for anyone who's looking for soups. But our flapjacks and brownies are cold as well as salads.
Do you make these?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I was about to actually ask what's your unique selling point, but I actually tasted one. I think that's your unique selling point. They're lovely.
Yeah,
Really
our
good.
unique selling point is we make
Lovely.
delicious food and healthy stuff.
What about the massively growing vegan market? Would you consider?
We could change our recipe, say our beetroot brownie.
Yeah.
That could definitely be turned into a
Yep.
vegan option.
Yep. It's definitely, I think it's the biggest movement on the globe.
Ourselves
at the
definitely,
moment.
like
Yeah.
ourselves are automatically vegan.
Yep. Good.
So
I started off and going to events, like markets and big events and stuff like that with a converted trailer doing it was coffee is what I started off doing. So I seen a lot of street food vendors, and when you've seen them one, you've kind of seen them all. And the thing was, if we were at these events and like through the summer season, it was you pretty much just ate what was around you, and I couldn't do any of my fitnessy stuff, and that's why I'm probably 2 stone too heavy, is because of there's some, but there was nothing is so direct as that, like, it's a good food truck idea too, like to go to these events, because not everyone's looking to eat a big burger or whatever, and like I was one of the people, my wife who runs a business with me, she's the same, it's just sometimes you just don't want all that food, so it's a great idea. But the other way of thinking of it, just obviously good to try it out in around Downpatrick in the leisure centre, which is a great idea, but going out to actually trying it out in events, and smaller events to start with, but because of the concept of it and what you're doing, and your brand which you've got going on is it's scalable into that too, like with food trucks and stuff going around, like big events, like local events, maybe not big festivals, but like thinking Dariata Festival. Nothing like there was nothing like it there. Everyone was serving something that was fried, grilled or whatever, so it's really good for that as well. It can apply to that. Yep.
What you should target, just picking up on that thing, what you should target is one of the best innovative food operations now is the RUAS at the Balmoral show.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's growing exponentially. So that show, in terms of its food and drinks product, has grown exponentially, and they're looking all the time for innovative ideas. They're looking for new things to come on. And Food NI, so we need to get you in touch with Food NI, who are good at helping to support this kind of project, this kind of initiative, and then showcase it. Yeah, really
Once
good.
again, I think what we're saying is you've got a fantastic product, and you should actually be aiming really high.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Downpatrick Leisure Centre is fantastic, but I think you've actually got further.
Yeah, it's bigger than that.
It's much bigger
It's a
than
bigger
that. You
business
are-
than just Downpatrick.
Yeah.
Far bigger.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Really well done.
But we love it. We love it. I know.
Well,
fantastic.
I don't think there's any high praise.
Really good.
Very well done.
Oh yeah. Yeah, our boxes are.
Really good.
I think what we're saying is you've got a fantastic product, and you should actually be aiming really high.
That's great sound.
Yeah, it's bigger than that. It's a bigger business than just Downpatrick. Really well done.
We love it. We love it. I know. You're fantastic. Well done.
Hello, I'm Max, this is Gary, Aaron and Joe, and together we're Soup Dragon's Kitchen.
So the business overview, the purpose of this business was to create a healthy alternative to already popular soups. So that was just obviously taking inspiration from other soups. We named ourselves after Soup Dragon's Kitchen to reference the TV programme Dragon's Den and the classic show The Clangers. The aim was to promote a healthier lifestyle, especially at a time where health and well-being is on a current trend. While the products created are healthier, the emphasis on flavour was paramount if it is to be successful.
Research, as a whole, Northern Ireland isn't really big on the street food trend just yet, compared to, the big other cities, London, Leeds, we're very, very, slow on that front. Street food, soup in general, like soup exclusive businesses, there's only really a couple in Dublin, London, Glasgow, just to name a couple, are sort of where it'd be prominent and stuff like that. So there's definitely an opportunity for us to make ground here. It allows us to jump into the emerging market before anyone else can follow up behind us.
Our concept is to produce soups that are healthier for our consumers. We accomplish this by removing the butter and the milk and the cream, everything that was basically just unhealthy. And we also had minimal amount of salt to help achieve this. Fresh vegetables and pulses are used to boost the fibre content and nutritional values of all our soups. We wanted to ensure our soups provided a fresh, filling and wholesome meal experience. Flavour is paramount. We want to disprove the myth that healthy food is bland, essentially. Whilst these soups have been well established, we added our own unique twist on the recipes to enhance its healthier outcomes and enhance flavour. We are committed to only sourcing and use of eco-friendly and compostable packaging and eating utensils to maximise our biodegradable and green initiative. Sorry.
In terms of costings, we're using the Bombay Delight soup as an example. It roughly takes about 91 pence, cost per proportion, and if we were selling that at about £3, that's 70% gross profit. The industry norms, food costs roughly about 30%, labour costs 30%, overheads 20%. That creates like sort of net profit of 20%, but as you know, percentages, you can't put them in the bank. So, 60 pence, roughly cash, profit per portion. We did a bit of an example where we served 245 customers between staff and students. We made the 40% uptake on the campus football, which would make sales £720, and that would roughly be £514 gross profit.
So who's our target market? Essentially our target market is everyone, but it's essentially the captive student market and the local food fairs and events. Then we can consider building our empire as we become more established and hopefully branching out with different strands. As an adaptive, bespoke brand, we can position ourselves to cater to people's special dietary requirements and offer a range that can be enjoyed by everyone, such as vegetarians, vegans, flexitarians, and people who are gluten and lactose intolerant. We feel this is important as this is a growing market sector. Allergen information will also be displayed to all consumers.
How are we different? Well, we're one of the first soup exclusive pop-up businesses in Northern Ireland. We have an extreme focus on health and flavour as the main factor is something not many competitors can achieve that, successfully. And we're completely bespoke. We can cater to any type of situation, theme or dietary requirement.
So what's next? Pop-ups within the inside of the college and outside the student canteen. We'd also like pop-ups at events with the mobile catering unit, which we've recently started using. Standardising the recipes and brand, then franchising the business out to other SERC campuses, allowing them to use our same ideas. Then developing a grab-and-go proportion range. Reaching out to local suppliers regarding sourcing fresh ingredients to increase nutritional value in a cost-effective manner, reducing air miles and the carbon footprint. And also we've been possibly looking into creating a partnership between charity organisations and supermarkets about using leftover ingredients from food banks and homeless centres once a week as a part of a social responsibility initiative.
Well, that's everything. Thank
That's
you for
everything.
taking.
So some of our group are going to hand out some samples for you just to try.
Well done. Well done. Absolutely fantastic.
And we welcome any questions.
If you were like popping up somewhere, how many people could you cater for?
Well, today there's about portions for about 10 or 11 right now, for example.
But if you were like doing a pop-up on in the catering van or whatever, the mobile van.
We'd roughly want to cater for a couple hundred people,
Right.
realistically.
I think we could easily achieve that, definitely.
Okay.
Easily achieve a couple hundred people.
Yeah, in one sort of go. Not in one go, but have enough product and have enough.
Yeah, as long as we've got enough time to prepare
Yeah.
and everything's sitting there. I mean, since it's soup, it just needs to stay warm. You can have a big vat of it if needs be.
Thank you very much. Wow.
So that's the Bombay Delight.
Wow.
Lovely. I love it.
It's gorgeous.
A friend, whenever we was doing our thing, we watched, is it Be a Rebel, the ramen place?
Oh, yes, I know what you mean.
And whenever he was doing that, everyone was like, it was
wow.
Like, you didn't do it, wasn't all
Can I just say it's fantastic?
Like ramen,
Oh my goodness, this is just amazing.
He did extremely well doing that, and he brought a new concept that.
It's amazing.
Cheers, man. Thank you very much. But
And that's the faux.
Yeah, that's the faux.
But because it was like unique, at the time, whenever he did it, it was kind of like he was bringing fresh ramen. No one else was doing it, and it was different. It was a different thing.
Well, street food in general, totally, 100%. I mean, the taquitos place, they're selling out every day.
We're getting to a stage where people are introducing new things that aren't new, like you rightly said, and other places have been there for such a long time. Like we got onto the donuts craze, like 2 years ago, but then London, it's like, oh, flipping on another donut, you know what I mean? So I think, it's a really good idea, and especially it's hitting that vegan, it's something alternative out there that's not exactly, it's not the usual staples of what we see in street food. Brilliant, I love the brand. Absolutely love the brand.
Fantastic.
The people who run who have the contract for your cafeteria here, Mount Charles, have a lot of outlets.
Including in my building.
Yeah, it's like government stuff.
A lot of outlets in both commercial business and in the public sector. They also have high street businesses, one of which is a healthy eating brand. So they're on site here. I would talk to them about taking this brand on, and first of all trying it here, getting it to a product that they want and that they can take out there, and then using this as a production centre for them to take that brand out and sell inside the places that they're managing.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want to achieve.
How much would you charge for a pot of soup?
So we could charge about £3, but we could do it cheaper.
I don't think you need to do it cheaper. I think it's fantastic.
No, I think you've got the right sort of £3, £3.50. It keeps it in that. This is not just a normal soup. This is a premium product. I think you're about right. Yeah.
It means the students can buy it as well. It's not just
and it's definitely not just a normal soup. Like, it is awesome. It's really
actually lovely.
It's just a meal in itself.
Between groups there, I was sort of saying, God, you just want to help all the groups somehow. So, and this goes to the last group as well. One of my remits locally is the markets in the borough. Falls under my sort of stuff. So if I can get contact details, and if you want to really test it out, where it all begins in a market, I can link you up straight away. Yeah. Why not give it a go?
I'm presuming are your details in the folder that you've given us?
No.
Okay, I just thought. Actually, I think you've given us a folder. That's fantastic. So that's to take away.
Yeah.
But your contact details in there would be really brilliant. I'm actually just thinking. I've just committed to the big sleep out in Stormont. Yeah. And actually, it's an all-night thing.
Yes, perfect.
But actually, exactly.
Yep.
So I want to contact you. So I need contact details.
Not a problem.
Hello. Yeah, that's no problem.
Absolutely amazing.
It's really good. Really
this is
good
just
idea.
fantastic.
Yeah,
and you can even do a little bit of bread with it, and then we'll be away.
Yeah, we could oven cook some croutons as well, so they go in with the healthy. Brilliant. Definitely get us your details.
Good. But doing it in the food truck thing, and then you find out you learn so much in like a very little time, which I'm sure you guys have either done it or are about to. But yeah, like finding out with Mount Charles is a good shout.
Yeah.
Because then you know exactly what you're doing, but you've already got a brand, you've already got an amazing product.
And some of us, like the public civil service, they're our provider. Yeah. And so we're massive, you know, and we can say to them that we want them to actually be doing this.
Oh, yeah. And then you've got target markets. Like
yeah. And I can have this every day.
Not for free, though.
No, not for free.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Very well done. Yeah.
No time.
Not for free, though.
No, not for free.
Well done.
So I'm Robin. I'm year 1, level 3 engineering manufacturing, and me and my classmates have teamed up with the art department doing the second year level 3 art to bring this installation called Elephant in the Room. So it's promoting mental health, and it's part of the Bangor Carers Festival next week. So we started with the art department by sort of brainstorming ideas of bringing the elephant in the room, and we decided to go for this two-sided sculpture. So each art student came up with different sort of opposing ideas, being positive and negative feelings, and then they pitched those ideas to the engineering students. The engineering students picked their two favourites from each art student, and then the art students went away. We would take, develop their ideas, and then they'd send those designs back to us, and we used different softwares to trace their art and drawings that were scanned in, and then we took all that to the laser cutter, and then we cut out on the wood ply, and then these up here are plasma cuts, so similar idea, still drawn in on software, and then use a plasma cutter to create. So we there's lots of different designs, lots of different ways that we've brought the art to life. So different ways that the laser cutter can cut. So we've got a lot of different etching. So we've got etching on these ones, and then we also have full cuts. We've got the eyes here and the more detailed full cuts on this one, and it's opposing sad design. So yeah, and then we also have like ink print as well. So the art students sort of pitched that we could bring this idea further. It's in an enterprise sort of way. So the engineering students have a student company called Cutting Edge, which uses different mechanisms, but a lot of laser cutting to create sort of bespoke paraphernalia and different sort of trinkets and things that we could sell. We have a theme at the minute, just sort of a Northern Ireland theme, so we can cut different things, but we sort of had the idea that we could do like baby mobiles, so sort of similar to this but shrunk down, or we could just do individual pieces, so people could even come to us with names and art and designs that they like, and then we can sort of bring their ideas to life and create their perfect little mobile for their baby and stuff. So any questions at all?
So I really like the idea of the baby mobiles and that. I'm not quite sure that I get this. Is this meant to?
So it's promoting mental health, and so we have positive mental state and negative mental state. So opposing ideas between each thing, addressing the elephant in the room. Which is of course mental health. So SERC as an establishment is focusing really hard on mental health in young people. So this is why this has been sitting in the foyer, and is also then going to be used for the Bangor Carers Festival.
Right.
Yeah, I would use that one. I like that idea of having something like that, an installation like that, when you're talking about mental health and mental well-being. So it'd be good for any forum where that subject, but actually you could probably widen it out in terms of that whole idea of elephant in the room, because there are, whether it be in the public sector or private sector, there are things that people are trying not to talk about. and actually using something which
Yeah.
is very visual and very impactful to talk about the elephant in the room, I think is quite a good idea of using that as a kind of source of focusing people on the issue.
Yeah.
I like the other idea of producing mobiles. So you can produce mobiles for lots of different things with lots of different designs.
Yeah, they don't have to be elephants.
No, that's absolutely right. And that thing then of art and engineering coming together, I always
Yeah.
like that kind of collaboration.
Mhm.
I always like it. It's much more effective then all round. And there's a whole range of products then that's coming together and you could be producing.
And well done for going solo. Not easy.
Yeah, where are your friends?
Good on you.
Yeah, they all abandoned you.
Apparently so.
Well, you did a great job. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done, mate. It's photo time.
You take that home with you then?
No, I think the art people want theirs back, do they?
It's like, no, you cycled here today. You're never getting it.
Yeah, where are your friends?
So, the winner in the enterprise category is Soup Dragon Kitchen.
What's it called, my group?
Eh?
What do you call the middle group? The social one?
Well done.
I've got social centre. Isn't it social centre?
Well done.
So-
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Right,
Guys, there are two presentations here. Don't worry, you will get, each of you will get one of these. So congratulations. Big thing from all of the judges. Incredibly impressed, particularly since this is a product that's ready to go. The point that you made, this product is not on the market here in Northern Ireland, so a soup only. It's a great product. We tasted it. I can vouch for it, that's for sure. The most important thing, everything that's sold, and this is one of my fellow judges, Sue Gray's idea, which we all agreed with, for everyone that's sold, you make a donation to charity. That's a hook that'll sustain this, but a fabulous product, ready to go, and it's now just about getting it into the market. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
We can a photograph taken? Can I get it? Yeah. That's my voice.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, I'll get the guys to give you a kick. You're just looking to get out.
No, I'm not. It's a win-win.
Just check the name again.
I know it is. The winners of the environment section are social centre. Well done. Hold on, you need some bags here. There's more for you, but there's too many, so we'll push them out there. Well done. Brilliant. Well done. All right. Super. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Smashing. We particularly like the fact that you're young and you're thinking about the elderly. Not all young people are out drinking bucky every night, so it's good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Hold on. All right.
It's Synthol. Yeah, so I mean that.
Yep.
Synthol.
Yeah, Synthol.
Well, cheers. Cool. Go. Okay, the winner of the innovation and entrepreneurship is Synthol. Good background. Well done, guys. There you go. Congrats. Well done. There's more of these coming. But yeah, we loved your product. Well done. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Photo.
Yeah, get that testing done and
Do.
then sell it.
Thank you. No worries.
I love the way that they all look completely emotional. They look so emotional.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's down to me to wind things up today. First of all, I'd like to thank you all, judges, for coming along today. We realise how busy you are. Sue, Terence, Andy and Stephen. Really, really important, but that we have external people come in and see the quality of what we do in the college and pass that message on. The second thing I'd like to do is obviously thank the staff in the college for the work that they've put into the students over that. This is 2.5 weeks work. These students are only here 2.5 weeks. So you can see the potential over the rest of the year and over 2 years. So huge potential, but the staff have put a huge amount of effort into the students in terms of the preparation, and I'd like to thank them. So I'd also like to thank the students for the work that they've put into this. This is a massive task for a student, standing up. It's a massive task for me standing in front of these lights, but for them to stand up in front of this and deliver what they deliver today is a huge step forward in their careers. And I'd like to thank all of those who participated in the Enterprise Fortnight, and for all the students who made it through to the final. They're all winners in my view. So, and then finally, I'd like to thank some of the staff who've been directly involved in organising this today. Obviously the staff in the college for presenting all the food for the green room, but also to Lizzie and Orla and our 4 new interns who have had a baptism of fire. They're literally only started in the college a few weeks as well, and they've seen what we're possible, or what's possible to do in this college. So once again, I'd like to thank you all. I think it's been a very successful fortnight for us, and we look forward to great things in the future with the Entrepreneurs Club. So thank you very much indeed.